Hello, and welcome to our first episode of Everything in Between, the podcast where we talk about everything in between stage and screen. I am Hunter, and this will be living on my channel, but I do have a co-host who will be joining me for most, if not all, episodes. And Adrienne, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, hello. As Hunter said, my name is Adrienne. I will be your colorful co-host, and
True.
Yes, definitely. There'll be a different outfit like every day, so look forward to that.
So true.
I love, theater, fantasy, huge Disney geek, all that stuff, and I'm just excited and here to vibe on a first podcast.
Yes, and we are thrilled to embark on a journey with you guys, where we are just going to try to discuss things around media, from music, movie, TV, books, theater, everything else really in between stage and screen. So if you don't know, our college has a major that's super weird, and we are actually what is literally called a stage and screen major. I'm on the screen film side, and
I'm on the stage side.
Stage theater side.
Mm-hmm.
So we do represent both sides of the coin,
yes.
And we do both love a wide variety of strange things.
Yeah.
That's really the best way to put it, especially with us.
We're interesting people. Let's just say it.
Yeah, we're a bit
We're
wild.
fun.
And on this first episode here, we have a couple of topics we're already prepared to discuss. But first and foremost, I think I want to have Adrienne talk about her first ever concert experience. As a 20-year-old, I finally got her to go to her first concert, and I think it went well.
It did.
Which,
yeah.
That made me happy. So.
I was pleasantly surprised because the reason I stayed away from concerts was because I heard of mosh pits and big crowds, and that just scared the crap out of me because I don't like crowds. I don't like people close around me. It freaks me out. And so I was like, oh, concerts are just not for me. And then Hunter told me about Lumineers. Sorry.
You said that so Disney, like.
Lumineers. So sorry. And I thought I might as well give it a try. I'm 20. I maybe should experience a concert, finally.
Also, you're literally, like, one of the best singers I know. You perform on stage constantly. This
God.
is, like, if you're 20 and never been to a concert, like, that's not that weird.
Mm-hmm.
But given me knowing you as a person, when you told me a while ago that you're like, yeah, I don't know if I don't ever want to go to a concert, I was like, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
so when I had,
weird.
I'll get to later in this about my summer with concerts, because it was insane, but, like, my last concert of summer, I had, like, a chance that I was like, okay, things could work out where Adrienne could come, and it lined up with some other things we were doing, and I was like, if I don't offer and make it sound really good, I'm gonna be so sad, because I really wanted you to have your first concert experience.
Yeah, and I'm so glad I went because it was really fun, and just it was fun to vibe to live music. And a folk concert is probably a great one to, like, start off with. Like, don't go to a metal concert or, like, an emo band concert.
If you have concert anxiety.
Yeah,
if you like emo and mosh stuff, then go for it. But
if you're like me and those just sound scary, don't go to that. But a folk concert, it was just really chill, really just such a vibe. It was people, the way they dressed was like Home on the Range and meets grunge.
Someone tweeted me that, and I know you're stealing it from that because I sent it to you, but it literally is so true.
I had to mention that.
Yeah, I was talking about after the show, like, I've been to Twin Elm Pilots before, and I've been to others that do this as well, but Top is the best example, where, like, concerts with themes are really cool. So, like, Trench, the tour, or the Bandito tour, technically, they had camouflage and yellow duct tape as a theme, because it makes no sense unless you're in the clique, in which case it makes a lot of sense, because the whole Trench, like, album theme is around, like, this group of individuals rebelling against the oppressive society, and the people who are on the oppressive side can't see the color yellow, so they wear yellow to band together, and it's a whole very in-deep universe thing. But so, like, everyone, imagine, like, a pit, so you didn't really see a pit, well, you kind of did, but not to this extent.
A little bit.
Imagine, like, a pit of, like, 1,000 people, and everyone is just covered in yellow duct tape and camouflage, and it's literally the coolest thing ever. Because everyone just, like, makes their character in that universe, and that was, like, a special, cool event. And, I know, like, the Taylor Swift tour that just happened, I'm not a Swiftie, but, like, people, like, themed their outfits based on each era of Taylor's life. So, like, that's a cool thing some people do.
I did not realize that.
And then you were talking about being scared of pits. Like, emo and, like, more metal groups, like, everyone will be seen or wearing black, or, like, there's, like, a group of, like, 10 bands that, like, that's every t-shirt you will see, which is kind of funny. Like, when I was at Fall Out Boy this summer, so many Blink-182 shirts just kept appearing. A couple Panic here and there, but it was a lot, like, not a lot of Fob, oddly. But, like, yeah, just, like, the classic emo groups definitely showed up quite a bit, which I always find fun.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's so, like, the Lumineers concert was so unique, because I think I counted, and I'm over 20 concerts at this point. This is my first, I wouldn't call it low-key by any means, but comparatively, like, the crowd was so chill and calm, and it was a different concert experience. If you stay within your genre a lot, I now would recommend going outside of your genre for a show, because it does just offer an entirely different experience.
Yeah, I do like seeing new perspectives, so I might give that a try.
I think you would enjoy within, like, a harder genre, quote-unquote, if you had a seat, because, like, you saw at Lumineers, there was the front, which is where you stand and lip hit, and then there are seats that you can buy. I feel like you do okay with seats, which is how I was for a long time. I just started doing standing shows last year when I turned 19, and I did Mayday Parade first, and now I've done festivals and stuff.
Yeah, I don't think I can stand that long.
Yeah, your feet also.
I have foot issues.
I also do, but I take pain medicine and I suffer because I love music.
I mean, I could do it if I wanted to, but I don't particularly enjoy standing for long periods of time and being in pain, so yeah.
Also,
for a seat.
No, seats are so nice. Like, they're overrated and underrated in different ways. Like, a lot of people hate them because they cost way more, which is valid. But for certain people and certain needs, they're, like, a necessity, and I do love them. And I like indoor shows that are seated, which don't happen that much anymore, but, like, I paid a shit ton for Fall Out Boy seats in 2018, and I paid too much, for sure, but I was 5th row, and I felt like it was worth it, because I didn't have to stand or wait in lines forever, but also then it could be argued, like, people who can't afford that can't get those seats, so definitely a hot topic, I think. Yeah, also just a shout out to, we went with two people that Adrienne had never met. I had not met one of them, but my friend Amber and Nate.
They were such cool people.
They were amazing,
and
we vibed with them immediately.
Oh, definitely.
Amber is just, like, a plant parent, and just the best energy, and Nate, he was one of those people where we met, and everything we said, we were like, oh, same, same. Lots of similar interests, Ren
like
Fair,
you guys can be best friends, for sure.
D&D, so that was very pleasant, and then we slept on their floor afterwards, which was
They had a nice
great.
Little apartment, so it was really nice.
Yeah.
We didn't have to, like, drive all the way back at, like, midnight.
Yeah, no, for sure. Concerts get done late. Oh, and then to add to the Lumineers thing, I will talk about other concerts, and this was technically the last one in that timeline, but, like, I have the best luck. Adrienne knows this. I have insane luck. I was with these guys all night, obviously, and all three of them were, like, more chill than I am at shows, and I just, at one point, it was during Brightside when Wes goes down into the audience, I was like, I'm fucking booking it, so I just ran, and of course, me being me, I got up to Wes, and I touched Wes's hand, and basically held it through part of Brightside, which was one of the concert highlights of my life.
She came up to me, she was like, I touched him! I'm like, what?
I did, in fact, touch him. That's true.
And I saw the video, I'm like, oh my gosh, you got that girl.
I recorded it, and
one of two other people.
Yeah, and then Nate apparently also ran, but was, like, way further back, and I was like, I am an expert crowd dodger. Like, I can get through anything.
I didn't really know what was going on. I must have zoned out, but I'm like, oh, people are going over to this area, and there's a camera, so I'm gonna go in there. Yeah. And once I went down there, people started crowding around me, and I'm like, oh, I'm ready to leave now. I turned around, there's people standing here, there's people standing there. I'm like, oh, well, I'm trapped now.
Yep.
Why did I do this? I didn't even get close to him, and so I'm
my God.
Instant regret and crowds. So that was the only time I had to deal with crowds, and that was my fault. So,
all right,
yeah.
1 second pause while I just... Okay, apparently this caps at 10 minutes? No, it doesn't cap. It just stops reading. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Okay, there's gonna be an awkward, like, 30-second gap there, but it should be fine because I have audio from these. Hopefully it'll be okay. Anyways, continuing on. No, yeah, that... I have really good luck with, like, very specific things, and then the rest of my life is, like, a shit show. But I feel like I started I started concerts at a very young age due to my mom, which is ironic because she doesn't drive in the cities. Like, my uncle would always bring us when we were younger, but my mom used to anyways be, like, a music nerd. And I went to my first concert when I was 8 or less, and it was the first Hannah Montana that was actually Miley Cyrus' show, and I remember I hated it, but then the next year Big Time Rush came, and I liked Big Time Rush, and then I became obsessed immediately at age 8. So, you know, we started young, and I've done quite a few now, but my summer was insane, and I won't make this a 10-hour story, because you've obviously heard it all already.
Yes.
But for content's sake, I will tell some of it. So, I did concert photography over the summer, and also just went to shows, but, like, it was insane. So first off, I went to Fall Out Boy, which is my favorite band ever. Like, Fall Out Boy's my favorite band, Hozier is my favorite artist, is what I typically say. Anyway, I went to Fall Out Boy, and I went to the infamous Somerset show, and if you're in the Fob fandom at all, you might know about this. Basically, there was a lightning storm at our show, and there was 3 openers at the show. All 3 openers finished their sets, and a lightning storm immediately started. So Fall Out Boy got postponed for almost 2 hours and almost canceled, and a lot of people left, and a lot of people are mad at that arena. Honestly, I think they did the best they could given the circumstances and keeping people safe.
I mean, you can't really control the weather, so, like...
No, exactly.
What are you gonna do?
There were a lot of people being really rude to staff, and as a...
Oh my gosh.
theater and someone who's worked in that kind of area before, it made me quite mad, but...
Yeah.
Like, I agree that there should have been some sort of reimbursement, which I still don't think there has been for, like, almost anyone. But, yeah, it was an interesting experience. But basically, finally the show did go on, and we got only 16 out of, I think, what was supposed to be a 28-song set. And then afterwards, a bunch of people online that were joking that, like, they played, like, Nightcore because they just played their songs, like, slightly sped up just a little bit, which apparently was funny. But I just, like, blacked out the whole thing because, like, everyone had seats, and then the seats weren't honored, and everyone rushed in. So, like, we went from being, like, middle of seated to, like, right up against the first barricade on the opposite side of the arena. Also, like, we were all in a lightning thunderstorm, so we were all drenched, and it was an insane experience, to say the least. Then, a couple weeks later, I did Honey Creek, which are my Milwaukee friends who have a band who are amazing, and I finally got to see them live after knowing their singer and piano player, Ellie, for, like, 7 years, which was crazy, and they were even better in person, and they're all super sweet, and I love them. Honestly, one of the bigger surprises of that day, though, was that Glitch Gum opened for them, who's a hyperpop artist, which introduced me to hyperpop, and it's insane. Also, Glitch Gum is the nicest guy ever. Love them. I was supposed to shoot for Silver Warehouse, didn't end up going, which I'm still mad about, but it's whatever, because it wasn't my fault. And then, The Big Boy, which I would love any notes you have on this, because I don't want to talk about it forever, but basically, what happened at Reverb Festival. So, Reverb Festival is an emo fest that just opened this year for the first time in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. And I'm just gonna tell my, like, weird thing about Passion Pod, and that's how I'm gonna tell this story. So, basically, there is a muralist, skateboard shop owner, and podcaster out of Eau Claire. I think his name is Chris Johnson, I'm not positive. But he has a podcast called Passion Pod, and he was, like, the artist, I'm gonna put it that way, for Reverb this year. He designed their mascot. And he had already followed me on Twitter from something else, just local, and I started seeing about Reverb, and he created this character, Mosh E, was like the mascot of the event, and I entered a contest for VIP tickets and forgot about it for like a while, and I already had tickets for Pit. Basically, I ended up winning like the highest tier of VIP, and it just kind of worked out, but in that same week, I had DM'd Chris, the guy who was hosting the competition, about press pass information because he was working with the event, and he helped me get that situated. So I just so happened to get, accidentally, like it was truly like a random generator, I got VIP front row tickets. I got a press pass that was approved and went through, and I talked to the head of the marketing team. It gets wilder. Day of, we arrive at the event, guys. Day of. And I see the big mural from the guy, and I go up to it, and I'm like, it's the guy! He made this with my friend Amy. It was also their first concert, which was very cool. I'm kind of known for bringing people to their first concert. So we take a picture, we turn around, and 2 staff members approach us. You've heard this already, mostly. But they're like, do you want meet and greet tickets? And we just, like, deer in headlights, like, what? Like, I've already had every good thing possible happen to me. And we're like, yeah. So they give us Charlotte Sands meet and greets, and we meet Charlotte Sands, and she's the nicest person ever. And as I'm walking out of the really brief meet and greet, I, like, flash her my press badge, and she's like, awesome! And then she sees me in the audience later, poses through, like, the whole set. I get amazing photos from her. The whole show, I got amazing pictures. I was front row for Mayday Parade, my second time seeing them. I love Mayday Parade so much. It was just insane day. Like, it felt fake. And then, like, in the pit at one point, I don't think I told you this, I just turned around at one point, and the guy who I'm talking about, that I won the tickets from, he was just standing behind me. I literally turned around and I was like, you're the guy! And he's like, what guy? And I was like, you've defined my life for the past, like, 4 days. And I was just like, I won the tickets. And he was like, oh, cool, glad you're here. And I was like, oh, no. Yeah.
Wow, your luck is insane, I swear. Like, with concerts, VIP and meet and greet tickets, like, how?
And then we went to get food, because we got free food with these tickets. And Red Jumpsuit Apparatus was just chilling, so we just met Red Jumpsuit Apparatus. Also, yeah, and because I had the press pass, like, all of my, like, favorite celebrities from my childhood just, like, looked at me, like, throughout the night. Like, Derek from Mayday Parade, I made eye contact with him, like, 10 times. Plain White Tees, and then, like, all of them have been, like, liking my posts and stuff, and I'm like, this is fake. This is actually fake. It's crazy.
Like, the amount of celebrities you've met is crazy, because I've never met a single celebrity, and
it is
I don't know
wild.
how that happens.
Yeah. If I start attending conventions and this luck continues, I think I might I might peak in life.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And then after that, we did Lumineers and James Bay opened for them, and they were both amazing. And I think that's everyone I've seen this summer. I've seen a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, at Reverb, there was, like, 8 people, but I won't list them all. But it was very cool, and I recommend it if you're in this area and, like, that type of punk, emo, alt-rock type sound.
But yeah, in our group, 2 of us had been to concerts, and that was Hunter and Amber, and then me and Nathan, it was our first concert. And I only knew a few of the Lumineers songs. I was mostly just there to vibe to live music. And so I only knew, like, a couple of their songs, and after that, it's like, I don't know this song, but this is fun. Like, I'm just dancing, vibing along. So it was a good time. And, like, I would say to people with anxiety like me, just try a concert. And a folk concert is definitely one that you could go to because it's more low-key. We had lawn seats, so we weren't super close to the stage, and the sound wasn't too overwhelming because I'm also bothered by loud noises. I don't know why. So I had, like, earplugs.
Bring earplugs if you have them. I should have told you that before you got to my house. Yes. But, like, I owned a couple pairs, but I was like, I don't know if you want to borrow used earplugs, so I didn't really offer.
Yeah, I just like, ripped up Kleenex and stuffed it in my ears. It worked just fine, but, like, bring actual earplugs.
Yeah. And another concert tip I always tell people is to bring a neck fan or, like, a small fan if you can. Pockets with deep pants if you can't bring things in. Pockets with deep pants. Whoa. Pants with deep pockets. And then
that's a new one.
I get migraines really easy, so I always take a pill, usually at the beginning of the opener band, and then I usually, if it's actually starting early, then I'll take another one when the main band starts, and then it usually is fine for the show. Just some things for me.
Yeah.
I love doing concerts. It's my favorite thing, really, and getting to do photography this summer was insane. Yeah, I think that's all I got for that specific category. Do you want to talk about your experience, not directing, but helping with youth theater this summer?
Yes. So I had an internship opportunity this summer where I got to work with kids in theater. And at my school, or my high school, every summer they do summer youth theater. And the musicals are always original. And so the director and her husband write the script, and then their friend Lauren is the one who, like, writes all the music. So everything is original, never done before. The age range of the kids is 3rd grade to, like, 9th grade, so a big age range. And so we had 50 kids, so...
That's so many.
It's been bigger in the past.
That's actually
like
insane. I didn't know it was that big.
Oh, it's huge. Like, they are thinking of probably bumping it just down to, like, 8th grade instead of, like... and cutting it off, like, right before 9th grade.
Wow.
Because it's just gotten to be so big. And, like, there was a good handful of kids that weren't able to get in when they signed up because it was too late. So I think there was, like, 6 or 7 kids that weren't able to get in.
Wow.
Or more because there was just too much.
That's an alarmingly large rate for a youth theater show.
Yeah.
Like... casting, like, at our school, having a show with 15 kids is, like, intense, and we're a college with a theater department, so that's kind of wild.
Yeah, there's a lot of kids that are interested in youth theater, and obviously, like, some of them, their parents definitely forced them to, because some of the kids kind of looked like this on stage, just
blank
dead.
face the whole time.
I'm just like, you're in the front. Can you just, like, try, just do something? But no, you just, there's only so much you can do, and when they're in the front, it's like, can you look alive? Can you look like you...
Can you be breathing at least?
I was like, sometimes I couldn't tell. It's like, are you okay? Like, are you breathing? Are you... Okay. No, he's just half asleep. And that's how some of the kids were, and I'm just like... We're just like, alright. It's fine. But, yeah, it was my internship, so I got to do a lot of things with this because we had quite a few student directors. And then Hannah was the main director, and then her husband helped out, and Lauren was in charge of the music, so there was, like, a big group of us that were working with these kids. And so I got to do things like I got to lead choreography, I got to help with their vocals, I got to fill in for parts that weren't there. There was one time where one of the leads was not there, and they were doing it on stage. And it was rehearsal, and so they're like, Adrienne, can you, like, read for student 1? And I'm like, okay, so just, like, I thought, like, just in the audience, I just thought, like, in the audience, like, just, you know, reading off the script, like I usually do when parts are gone. And they're like, no, on stage. I'm like, oh, okay. And so this is, like, literally my only experience with youth theater because I never got to do it when I was younger, and I'm so sad that I never got to do it. Yeah. I was always way too busy over the summer, and it just looks like so much fun. Yeah, because you go to
Disney, like, every summer.
I go to Disney World, like, every year. So, I'd say I've been there, like, 9 times now.
I've been 0!
Like, not in a row, but pretty close to it. I would say probably, like, 7 or 8 in a row, and then, like, there was, like, a gap.
Not in a row I've been 9 times, but 7 or 8!
I'm kind of, like, a veteran now when it comes to, like, Disney. Like, my family knows what we're doing. We know the plan and everything. Oh, my God. Anyway, off topic.
Yeah, I also did my internship this summer on accident. I did not expect to start it. Oh my God, you know what else I did this summer? I had the craziest summer of my life. You know this, obviously.
Yeah.
I went back to Europe, which I, like, didn't talk too much on the channel about yet. I might later. I definitely have some things I'm doing for One Office, like, editing-wise, that might get posted eventually. But basically, I went to Germany and did a film thing with my friend Tim, who y'all know, obviously. And then I went solo to Switzerland and France, which was, like, the coolest thing I've ever done in my life, probably, because it was independent and I felt very cool being able to do that by myself, especially as a 20-year-old female solo traveler. I was very proud of myself afterwards. That's not what I was saying, though. That's just also something that happened this summer. But for my internship, while I was abroad, which is why I thought of it, my friend Kenzie texted me and was like, hey, the studio in Amory is hiring right now. You should look into it. So I got back and I looked and I got hired and I'm working as a school photographer right now, which has just been a crazy weird experience, and I've already been, like, offered back a full-time job because everyone else they hire is, like, seasonal and they train them on the spot, and I have more experience than most people in that office, so I got offered to come back, and I would love to, because it's close to me and it pays pretty well, and I love working with the equipment and actually knowing what I'm talking about. I like the fulfillment of getting to geek out about camera stuff and have people be forced to listen to me, which is like, if you're a photographer and you don't know how to use a camera, like, you have to listen to the people who do, which, like, fulfills my selfish need for gratification, so that's been nice. But yeah, just working with cameras and actually getting paid for it is insane. Because I did all of that concert photography, like, hundreds of hours of work over the summer, completely for free. Like, I didn't get any money from that. I've just been making connections with cool people.
Yeah, and my internship was also not paid, but it was so worth it to go, because it was just...
Yeah, I'm very lucky my internship is paid, because after the other stuff I was doing, I can't financially afford it anymore. If you haven't noticed, we have a B&A cam here. Woo! I upgraded my camera this summer as well, which has just been crazy and interesting, and I let Adrienne have this cam.
Hi.
Because I have a third camera from, like, middle school that's, like, $100, and he died. He's not working right now. So yeah, but we've been both very busy.
Yeah.
Especially
basically,
in the media realm.
The start of my summer is always super busy, because I either go to Disney or I visit family, and this time it was the internship that was taking up my time, which made my summer so much fun. And yeah, I also got to do, like, the kids' makeup, and these are just such a talented group of kids, and I'm so proud of, like, the work that they put into this. Like, they put so much time and dedication and hard work into these productions, and it was really cool to see behind the scenes of that, because I always go every year and see the productions, and I just love them, and it was just fun to, like, actually get a different perspective and, like, see how it's all put together and all the work that is put into it. And the show was called Only Time Will Tell, and it was like a time travel theme. And so when we were casting, we had to find a way to give every kid a part, because what we try to do is give every kid at least a line or two so they get their moment to shine.
Yeah.
And if they don't get their moment to shine, they do it in other ways. There's some very expressive kids when they're doing, like, choreography or, like, facial expressions or diction, like, those sort of things can also help them stand out. And so it's just fun to see which kids stand out in what other ways. And yeah, it was just a really awesome show and such a fun internship experience.
As someone who doesn't act and has done the backside of theater for like 4 or 5 years and a lot of West End Broadway viewings, it's so nice to hear that, like, this sounds really cheesy, but theater isn't dead, because there's a lot of, like, dying out shows, especially post-COVID. It's coming back now, and Hamilton helped so much with that. Sure. Like, from a, like, Hamilton or not perspective, like, Hamilton helped a lot for the theater community. So yeah, hearing, like, 50 kids and, like, most of them want to be there, like, that's refreshing.
It's amazing.
Especially because, like, I picked the college we're at because of the Broad program and the fact that they had some amount of film, because I don't want to be in this major. I want to be in a film major. I don't like the acting side of things. I like everything else. Yeah. Unlike you, who were pretty opposite in that regard. But, like, it's nice, because, like, we're, like, at one point we were the second smallest major at this school, I think. And I think we're, like, in the middle-ish now, but we still, like, our whole college, which is, like, over 8,000 students, our major has, like, 54 kids. It's pretty small. And,
but
like,
for, like, the small major we have, it is, everything that's produced is pretty high quality. Like, there's some very talented people in this major, for sure.
We have some insanely talented kids.
It's like what are you doing here?
The senior and junior class right now is very strong, and we just lost a couple very strong kids as well last semester from graduation. Obviously,
it just, like, blows my mind, because it's like, what are you doing here in Wisconsin in this, like, little
how are we from this little area?
Yeah,
at an agricultural and teaching business school. Like, it doesn't make
like these
any
insanely
sense.
talented people, and they're here.
Like, thanks, we
like,
need you desperately.
But it's like, you could do such bigger things, and it's just crazy.
Yeah, shout out Wes for teaching half of our school how to use a camera.
Seriously.
No, for real, it's been fun. Like, we did web series last year, which is a whole other can of worms we do not have to get into. You can go watch my documentary on my channel.
Yeah.
And the maybe it'll be out eventually. It's getting submitted to film festivals right now.
So it's gonna be a while.
Though.
But you can see the process of how it's all being made.
Yeah, I got us registered for like an official IMDb page, which is one of the cooler things that came out of that class, I think. So you can check us out on IMDb. Yeah. Hunter Ponick, Adrienne Quinlan.
Yeah.
Yay. All right.
Promotion.
Sorry about that. Moving on. Do you have any other, like, big media things you want to talk about from the summer, or do you want to move into our movies and TV shows category?
I think we should move into our movies and TV shows.
All right.
That was the biggest thing in my summer.
Yeah, so I just have a category on here because it felt fitting to the theme of this, just about what we saw this summer. And, of course, I did a entire video about the Barbie Oppenheimer experience. Mm-hmm. You only seen Barbie.
Yeah.
So my experience is on my channel already if you're interested in that at all, but I want to hear yours, because Barbie kind of is your aesthetic, but obviously that movie is also existential dread, so...
Yeah. I didn't know what to expect going into it. It doesn't give it away in the trailer, so it kind of just looks like, a happy, fun, like, silly movie.
Happy fun with a little dark tinge.
Yeah. And I didn't realize how deep into, like, feminism it goes into, and, like, I think they could have even gone a little deeper with some, like, ways, because
I think they were pretty
scratched the surface.
They were surface level in, like, a topical to everyone sort of way, but I definitely think they could have went deeper and more, like, less, I don't want to say surface level, but it felt like cliche in a bad way at some points, but I still gave Barbie a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I loved the movie.
Like, I gave Oppenheimer,
I think they could have gone even further with it, to be honest.
Like, the end, if the ending was more of how the film was, does that make sense? I think that could have made it a little stronger, but it's a very good film.
Yeah.
And I loved how it brought theater and, like, 1950s movie, like, references and style back, practical sets.
And it brought nostalgia back because, you know, a lot of us grew up with the Barbie movies, including me, obviously. But what people don't always get is that it's not a movie for kids. It is more targeting the people that grew up with Barbie versus the kids that watch Barbie now, because it's focusing, it, like, tackles the patriarchy, it attacks feminism, it attacks, like, inequality with women and all the struggles that women go through, because, oh my gosh, it's a lot. And
that was a strong statement from Adrienne.
It's everybody. A lot. Yeah. I haven't gone through, like, a crazy amount of struggles, but there's been other women who have just, like, gone through hell and back to just exist. And it's very difficult.
I said this in my review, but I knew a lot of, like, it was gonna be a dark noir juxtaposition to Barbie, but I somehow never got spoiled that Ken was the villain. Yeah. And then I got into the movie and I was like, that's the plot? How did I not find this? Because I didn't see it the week it came out. I seen it, like, 2 weeks later, and there was so much Barbie on the internet.
Yeah.
I walked into that film fully unaware that Ken was the villain, and then I was like, oh, the Ken song makes sense now.
Yeah. It's such a banger, though. It really is. And my sister, after she saw the movie, was playing that song every single day. Nonstop. So I'm kind of sick of it because I've heard it so much. But yeah, it was a really well done movie, even though there's areas they could have done better with, but it sent the message that it wanted to. And there's also places that was up to interpretation, and Ryan Gosling was born to be Ken. At this point, I think everyone believes that. There's literally nobody else that could have.
The Barbie cast
been
was
Ken
very
like him.
good.
Yeah. Margot Robbie is Barbie. She's gorgeous. She's perfect. She's amazing.
Yes.
Like,
agree.
And her acting is not appreciated enough, but I think
she gets put into, like, these weird feminism heavy roles really often, but she is a very strong actor.
Yes, she is.
Sure.
Yeah, for sure. Especially for, like, playing a doll that, like, suddenly feels these human emotions.
I want to watch Barbie again now, is what I'm realizing. Because I also talked about it in class today. We were asked about, because it was our first day of class today, and that we talked about Oppenheimer and Barbie, and I was like, I just keep hearing about it again, and I'm like...
people say an Oppenheimer is better, and I haven't seen Oppenheimer, but, like, I expected her to like Oppenheimer more, and she said that Barbie is better.
I mean, do not get me wrong. Oppenheimer is great, but I did like Barbie better, yes.
Yeah.
And this is coming from someone who's also a history major, so
it
take
was
that
kind
for
of
what
surprising.
you will.
But yeah, it was funny when it needed to be. It was serious when it needed to be. And it was interesting that they had the Mattel storyline.
Mattel is becoming a cinematic universe, and I hate it and I love it.
I didn't know how to feel about that. Love Will Ferrell, but I just didn't know how to feel about that storyline, because it's like, it kind of paints them in a bad way, because it just basically shows that, like, they're doing this for money, especially that part.
I don't like Will Ferrell, so I'll say it was weird and funky, and I liked it.
They make, like, you know, especially that scene where it's like, oh, we can make, like, a normal Barbie. He was just like a mom, like, and they're like, oh, well, it's a terrible idea, and then it's like, well, we'll make money. Well, then we're gonna do it. Like, it was
I mean, that's pretty accurate to the industry, not gonna lie.
But it was
Most
just, like,
industries.
It was weird that they, you know, did that, because it's, like, painting them in a bad light, but...
Oh, I see what you mean. From, like, their own marketing standpoint. Okay, yeah.
That's what I mean.
I think they're doing it in a way that they know it's so ironic that it still helps them. Because, like, everyone knows capitalism and everything's fucked up, so I think it's just, like, a
But I just thought that was a little
I see what you mean now.
Yeah,
no, for sure.
I was kind of like, oh, interesting.
So,
yeah.
On the TV show side of things, I will take my brief moment, and then I want your review of Gravity Falls. Okay. So we'll get to that. But for me, and also partly you, my hyperfixation of the end of summer was Good Omens, and I got Adrienne to watch a couple episodes, and I think we'll finish it once I get my projector working. But Good Omens is so good, guys. I missed the Good Omens and Our Flag Means Death train. I'm gonna get on that one soon, don't worry about it. But I watched Good Omens because it's all of my Twitter timeline talks about. Like, I wasn't on Good Omens Twitter, but Hozier Twitter kind of became Good Omens Twitter for a small bit, and the overlap was massive in the Hozier community. So I watched it finally. I wanted to watch it anyways because Neil Gaiman rates it, and Neil Gaiman's like my favorite writer director of all time. Also makes Sandman one of my favorite shows and comics. But no, Good Omens is fantastic. I highly recommend it. Crowley and Aziraphale have my whole heart. It is gay representation at its finest because Neil knows how to write queer characters, and it's just a phenomenal show. Also, I didn't tell you this yet, but there's a whole... Because Neil likes to reply to Tumblr messages a lot. He's very old school in that way. And there's been a whole debate on Twitter and Tumblr this week. And basically, Neil accidentally kind of confirmed that not only are they both non-binary, they're both also asexual, or at least on the ace spectrum.
Oh my gosh.
And coming from us, you can't see, but we have ace flags and queer flags all around the outside of this frame. Makes me happy. So.
Yeah, definitely, because ace representation is
non-existent.
Like non-existent.
There's like 5 of us in media.
Yeah, I've seen maybe 1 or 2 shows that mention it in an actual like.
I seek those shows out, so I've seen like all of them at this point, and having like a power couple like Aziraphale and Crowley, let alone with their massive fandom, even being on the ace spectrum if they're not fully asexual, which I don't think that. Well, I don't know. We'll get to that next season hopefully. Or even if it's never mentioned again. I'm happy that he confirmed it in a way that is, like... Because Sherlock, like, historically... Because obviously Sherlock is the king of queerbaiting. But, like, Sherlock historically, most people assume he's ace. Like, from the books from the 1800s. Like, it's a very deep-rooted literature thing. But then the show made him, like, super queer and interesting, and, like, then there was a lot of ace rep, and then they randomly pull out, like, the Irene Adler stuff, which, like, he still could have been ace and had, haven't seen Sherlock, but he still could have been ace and had the Irene Adler stuff, but then they make it weird, and they just take a bunch out, and obviously Sherlock is queerbait at its peak, but I still love Sherlock.
Ace representation should be, like, way
more prominent and done correctly.
Yeah.
And not fucked around with.
Because we exist. We're not broken. We don't need to be fixed.
Anyways, what was I getting at? Oh, Good Omens is great, watch it.
Definitely.
I'm not gonna get into this too deep. My other TV show note I have written down in my notes was just Secret Invasion sucked. As someone who likes all of the likes all of the Marvel properties to an unhealthy degree, to a point where, like, I know I have opinions that people do not agree with. Like, there's only 2 Disney Plus shows that I don't like. I know a lot of people have a lot more, and mine are Captain America Winter Soldier and Secret Invasion, and Secret Invasion was fine. I would give it, like, a 6. Have you watched it yet?
I have not.
Yeah, I just think the ending was poor. The fact they use fucking AI to generate the intro title really bothers me. Yeah, like, and it happened all, like, it was being released during the strike, so there's obviously some other implications there. The Nick Fury parts of the show, actually the best part, like, for sure. The Skrulls parts were weak, which makes me sad, because I'm hoping they set up Teddy from the Young Avengers at some point, who is a half Skrull, if you don't know. And yeah, I feel like they could have did so much more with the Skrulls being shape changers. Like, Captain Marvel was better in that regard, and Captain Marvel was also kind of a shit show, so...
That's saying something.
Yeah, pretty much.
I did not like Captain Marvel. I don't think a lot of people...
I usually rate Marvel movies by saying, I like every Marvel movie, I just like some a lot less. And Captain Marvel is definitely in my a lot less
Yeah,
tier.
it's not really one I would, like, watch multiple times.
I've seen it, like, 3 times,
I would watch
and I'm like...
so many times.
Yeah, it's whatever. It's a whatever Marvel movie.
Yeah, it's kind of forgettable.
Yeah, so, your summer in TV shows?
Yeah, so, she showed me Gravity Falls.
Yeah, I did.
I have heard so much hype about this show. I've just never watched it.
Did it live up to the hype?
Yes, it did. I was
hear that?
very surprised with how good it was. I was hooked by the first episode. And usually with shows, it takes me a couple episodes to get into it, because I'm like, oh, I'll give it a chance. If the first episode's kind of like, I'm like, well, I'll still give it a chance, because that's just how I am. But with this one, I'm like, I love this show. It's got the story. It's got great characters. I love the voice acting. One of the voice actors.
The lore.
Yeah,
Which you
the
don't
lore.
even know yet, because I haven't given you the
I'm
essay
going to
on
learn the lore from her.
Have I told you that Journal 3 exists as a full book? And I own it? Yeah. I also own all the graphic novels that also exist from the show, if you didn't know there's graphic novels.
Ooh.
I'm the biggest Gravity Falls fan, only, just by the way.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just a very fun show. I got hooked on it, for sure.
What did you think of the ending? Because we watched season 1 and half of season 2 together, but you watched the ending by yourself. So I actually don't know your thoughts on that.
I mean, I liked that they ended the summer off where they left.
Did you cry? Because I sobbed.
I don't.
Every time. I will cry if I watch it by itself without watching the other episodes with it.
Yeah. No, I'm not really a person that cries at shows or movies. I'm just not. That's not how I am. I don't know why. I don't like to. I don't know.
Emote.
I don't.
Unless you're acting. You save all
Pretty
the,
much,
all
yeah.
the tears.
Yeah, I save it for just fake tears. I do have emotions. I just, like, there's only a few that I show.
You're really getting me today. You've got me to, like, cackle a couple times on this recording.
Oh, well, that's I'm usually not very funny. I'm funny unintentionally, because I say dumb stuff, and then people
confirm.
laugh. Yeah. But yeah, Gravity Falls... I loved it. I loved when Bill showed up, and I'm just like, oh, I gotta watch this, like, I gotta binge the rest of season 2. I watched the rest while, my sister was at physical therapy, because I drove her there, and then I just watched the show. I was waiting in the waiting room. I'm like, I gotta finish this in the last episode.
My favorite question to ask people about Gravity Falls after they finished it is, who is your favorite non-Bill or Gideon villain of the show? Because mine is a weird one, but I have 2 and they're similar-ish. I like the Summerween Trickster, the candy demon, and then one that I don't think you've seen actually because it's from the shorts collection. I like the Hide Behind, who's like their version of Slender Man, and he's like the only creepy one they ever did, and I really like the Hide Behind.
Oh, the Hide Behind sounds really creepy. There was like so many.
I know.
And this wasn't really a villain one, but I kind of liked when, with Dipper's clones, and then they turned against him.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny.
Tyrone is his name.
Yeah,
that's
Tyrone.
The lead clone's name. I'm telling you, I know
like
everything.
A complex
about
kind of character.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I have a stupid Gravity Falls. Like, you witnessed this. I had laryngitis when we were watching it. I still recited the whole first episode, even though I was supposed to be on vocal rest. Like,
she did.
I have the first episode mapped, and most of the first season I could do it if it was playing, but the first episode I could do it without it playing, I think, and I could get it pretty accurate.
I'd say the spider woman really creeped me out.
Oh, from Gift Shop of Horrors in the second season? Yeah.
She really creeped me out.
I think so.
Because I don't like spiders in general, but, like, I didn't see that coming, and also she turned...
Yeah, it's one of my least favorite episodes. I don't like the 2 collage episodes. Bottomless Pit and Gift Shop of Horrors are my 2 least favorite episodes, but they're all good, so it's whatever, really. Yeah, and then... you have any opinions on Good Omens? You've seen the first, 3 episodes so far. I don't even remember where we left off.
I think we got through more than that.
I mean, each season's only it's either 6 or 8 episodes. They're not long.
I definitely liked it.
Good to hear.
I love the chemistry between the two. They are definitely in love with each other. It is very obvious, even if it's not. You
haven't even got to the confession yet.
Ooh, okay. I love the time jump episode.
Okay, Sandman does the same thing.
Time jump. Yeah, I love it.
I made everyone watch Neil Gaiman. I really like Neil Gaiman, guys. But it's that episode, and you've seen both. They riff off each other so much. It's crazy when you're into film stuff, when you actually can see directors and you can recognize their patterns. I knew Neil did both of them already, but when I was watching it, I also had the same reaction of the time jump style is so his specific thing, and it's one of my favorite things. And Neil is really good at form cuts, and if you're into film, you might know what that means. It's when two scenes match up and they overlap and they merge together in a way that's cinematically pleasing to the eye.
And I found it so funny that they're just having casual banter while they were well, a crucifixion was going on, or a beheading was going on. And I'm what is going on?
They're truly
But their chemistry is just through the roof. So fun to watch.
Yeah, I'm very excited for season 3 and seeing how things end up after the end of season 2, which I won't spoil for you, but
I don't think we even finished season 1, so
and I think you have 2 episodes left.
Okay.
We were supposed to finish it this week, but my projector cord got lost in the move.
The last thing I remember is him in a burning car.
Oh!
A flaming car.
I know where we are.
Yeah.
So
probably further than you think, but yeah.
No, that's
driving in a flaming car.
That's the beginning of the end of the world. So it's the second to last episode of season 1, probably.
He's a demon, so it kind of makes sense. But it's drives up to this guy and he's like, "Where is this place?" And it's it's I want to tell you that your car is on fire, but I'm not going to tell you that.
You probably know.
You probably know. Yes.
Yeah.
So British.
Oh, it's another reason to love Neil Gaiman. Yes. Everything he writes somehow becomes British, and I don't even know if he's British.
I love British.
Did you have another TV show that you wanted to talk about? You mentioned you watched one that you liked that I didn't know about.
I've been watching The After Party. It's on Apple TV+. If you like murder mysteries, it's a really fun one. It's kind of these characters that meet at a high school reunion, and one of them ends up getting killed, so it's they have to figure out who the murderer is, and it happens at the after party after the reunion. And how they do it is each episode, each character tells their perspective. So at the end of one episode, you find out what another character is involved with, and so it makes it really difficult to figure out who did it.
Yeah.
So they don't make it as obvious, even though I called out the murderer right away. That's just how I am.
Your special talent.
I don't know how I do this, but I seem to be able to call out the murderer most of the times. I'm yeah, it's that person because of this and this and this.
Yeah.
And it's happened multiple times, and it happened to me. So that's irrelevant to that because I'm just strangely good at that. But yeah, it's really funny. It's it just kind of keeps you thinking. It stumps you because some characters seem really suspicious, and others oh well, it's too obvious. But but then the obvious one could be the murderer, and so they're just really fun characters, and I highly recommend the show if you like murder mysteries.
You might have
comedy.
To pirate it because I don't have Apple.
Yes.
Okay. Well, my last little notes I have on here was just any recommendations we have, and I'll start with mine because you just did your little segment there.
Yes.
Mine, TV show, Good Omens. But my actual recommendations for this week would be the 2 things I didn't talk about too much yet, or the 1 thing really. First, the one I have talked about, Lumineers. They're really good. I got way more into them because we went to see them, and James Bay is also very talented. But my real and official recommendation of the week is my Lord and Savior, Andrew Hozier, finally released his 3rd studio album. So, Unreal Unearth has been released into the world, and I highly recommend you check it out. It's very good. All of the songs are amazing. I personally currently have been really vibing with The Selby Part 2. There's a Part 1, but Part 2 is my fave. And, Icarian is also good. Through Me the Flood's great, but I think that's an EP. Anyway, Hozier's new album. If you haven't heard it yet or didn't know it was out, it's been out for about a month. Check it out. Alright, that's mine.
Yeah, and like I said, Go to a concert if you haven't. They are really fun. Just go with people that have been to concerts before, because then you will not be lost and not know what to do. It was really helpful to go with someone who's been to literally 20 concerts.
It was funny because no one that went with us had been to that venue, so everyone was like, Hunter's in the lead, follow Hunter, and I just booked it through a crowd of 20,000 people.
I've never been here before, I don't want to get lost.
It was so funny because Amber kept asking me things, and Nate also, and I'd just be like, I know exactly where that is, how to do it, and like what the protocol is for this specific venue.
Yeah, just go with her, because she's
actually, you drive, I'll go with, I will handle everything else, like someone else drives and I'm good.
Yeah, no, I can't drive either. We're working on it.
Woo!
I have driving anxiety.
Same though.
Yeah. I mean, if you have driving anxiety, you get it. There's definitely people out there. I'm scared to drive in cities.
I'm also scared to drive in cities. I'm slightly less scared than her, but also terrified.
Yeah. I have to get over it because if I want to have a theater career, I need to learn to drive in the cities.
Me, but with film.
So yeah, we both need to get over our driving anxiety.
Yeah. Well, that's a fun way to end it.
Yeah.
I don't have anything else. Do you?
No.
Okay, well, I think that went pretty smoothly. I'm probably going to post this. I will say this was quite long, but that's part of the fun. Hopefully someone watches this.
It was just chit-chatting about...
Yeah, which I enjoyed. That's kind of what I was hoping would happen.
Just very casual.
I think it went well. Leave some comments down below about any of the topics we talked about.
Yeah.
I'm
no concept of time, so...
We started a while. It's almost 10. We've been here a while.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Anyways, thanks so much for listening. And if you actually did listen to all of this, you're a freaking champ, and I love you.
Thank you.
Deeply. So yeah, check us out next time. We'll be back in a couple weeks, maybe. Yeah. We'll see what happens.
Just kind of trying something new. Thanks for watching.
I think that's it. Bye, BCam.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, ACAM.
Bye.
Alright, bye, guys.
Bye.
A vibe? A certified vibe?
My throat hurts.
Now the real question is, did it save?
Woo!
That's the scary bit.